Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Microsoft Knowledge Nuggets here on M365 FM. I'm your host, Mirko Peters. Today's topic is one that almost everyone has heard of, but few really understand: Microsoft Power Platform. So imagine this. You're sitting at your desk with 4 browser tabs open, one Excel spreadsheet you update by hand every morning, one Outlook with approval requests piling up, a SharePoint list from 3 years ago that nobody trusts, and somewhere in that mess, you're copying data from one system to another, hoping not to make a typo. Sound familiar? That's how most companies run. A patchwork of tools that don't talk to each other, held together by people doing repetitive work. But what if you could connect all of that into one system without writing a single line of code? That's what Microsoft Power Platform is. Here's the simplest definition. It's a connected layer on top of your existing Microsoft 365 tools, your email, Teams, SharePoint, and it lets anyone in your company build apps, automate workflows, and analyze data, all without needing a developer. By the end of this episode, you'll understand what each piece does and how they all snap together. Grab your coffee and let's dive in. The problem: why Power Platform exists. Here's the thing. Most organizations run on a patchwork of Excel spreadsheets, email chains, and paper forms. Someone fills out a Word document, emails it to their manager, the manager prints it, signs it, scans it, and emails it back. That's not an exaggeration. That's how a lot of businesses still work. Off-the-shelf software was supposed to fix this, but either it costs a fortune or it doesn't fit your process, so you end up bending your workflow to match the software instead of the other way around. And that never works well. The traditional alternative was to build custom software, but that meant hiring developers for months or years, and a simple app could cost tens of thousands of dollars, and by the time it was finished, your business needs had already changed. So you end up with separate silos. Your data lives in SharePoint, your approvals happen over email, your reporting is in Power BI but disconnected, and nothing talks to each other. Power Platform solves this by giving non-developers the power to build, automate, and analyze, all in one place. Most people think Power Platform is only for IT professionals. It isn't. It's designed for anyone in your company, from sales to HR to operations, to create solutions without writing code. And it's already part of the Microsoft tools you're using. Next up, the first building block, the one that helps you see your data. Power BI. See what's happening. Most people have heard of Power BI, but what does it actually do? In plain English, it takes your raw data, rows and columns, and turns it into charts and dashboards you can read at a glance, connect it to Excel, SQL, Dataverse, or even Salesforce, and it creates visuals that actually mean something. Here's a concrete example. Say you're a manager who needs to know which products are selling fastest this week. In the old way, you'd ask someone to pull a report, wait a day, get a spreadsheet, and try to make sense of it. With Power BI, that dashboard updates automatically, so when you open it, the numbers are right there. No manual work required. But here's the thing. Power BI is more than just a reporting tool. It's the eyes of the platform. It shows you what's happening across your entire business in real time. And those dashboards don't have to live inside Power BI alone. You can embed them in Teams, in Power Apps, even in SharePoint. Your data is visible wherever you're already working. Seeing the problem is only half the battle. What if you could automate the fix? That's where the next tool comes in. Power Automate. Make work happen automatically. Power BI shows you what's happening, and that's useful, but it still leaves you with the actual work. Someone still has to send emails, update spreadsheets, and chase down approvals. And that's where Power Automate comes in. If Power BI is the eyes, Power Automate is the muscles. It does the heavy lifting so you don't have to. Here's how it works. You set up a trigger, something that happens in your system, like an email arriving, a row getting added to a list, or a date passing. When that trigger fires, Power Automate runs a series of actions automatically. All drag and drop, no code required. Let me give you a concrete example. Say a new sales lead gets added in Dynamics 365. In the old way, a sales rep would need to notice that lead, manually create a task, write a follow-up email, and add it to their calendar. With Power Automate, it all happens instantly. The lead appears, a task is created, an email is sent, and the rep gets a notification in Teams. No one lifted a finger. Here's another one almost every company deals with: expense approvals. An employee submits an expense report over $500. Power Automate catches that, sends an email to the manager with an approval request, and when the manager clicks approve, it updates the spreadsheet automatically. No back and forth, no "did you see my email?" and no chasing people down in the hallway. And this isn't limited to Microsoft tools. Power Automate has over 1,400 pre-built connectors. Outlook, Teams, SharePoint, sure, but also Slack, Twitter, Dropbox, Salesforce, and DocuSign. You can connect pretty much anything to anything. So now you can see your data and automate your workflows, but there's still a missing piece, a place where people can actually interact with the process. That's what comes next. Power Apps. Build the interface. Power BI shows you the data and Power Automate does the work, but people still need a way to interact with the system, to submit something, to check something, to update something. That's exactly what Power Apps is built for. Power Apps is where you create the user-facing part of your solution. Mobile apps, web apps, tablet apps, whatever your people need. And you build them without writing traditional code. There are two main types. Canvas apps give you complete control over the design. You drag and drop buttons, text boxes, images, and data fields onto a screen exactly where you want them. It's like designing a poster. Every element goes where you decide. If you want a green button in the top right corner, you put it there. Model-driven apps work differently. They're built around your data structure. You define your tables and relationships in Dataverse, and the app generates the interface automatically. Visually, it's less flexible, but for complex data operations, it's much better. Things like guided data entry, business rules, and process flows. Here's a real example. Say you have field workers who need to inspect safety equipment at job sites. You build a simple Canvas app that runs on their phone. They open it, check off items on a list, take a photo if something's broken, and submit. The data goes straight into your system. No paper forms, no typing up notes at the end of the day. Power Apps uses something called PowerFX. It's a formula language that looks a lot like Excel. So if you know how to write XSUM in a spreadsheet, you already have a head start. You can use it to build logic into your app. Show this field when that checkbox is checked. Calculate this total from those inputs. Think of Power Apps like building a Lego house. You snap together pre-built blocks, buttons, forms, galleries, data connections, and you get exactly what you need. No soldering required. So we've got 3 tools so far. See the data, automate the work, build the interface. But in 2026, there's a 4th piece that changes everything. Copilot Studio, add AI agents. Now let's talk about a newer piece. Copilot Studio. It used to be called Power Virtual Agents. This is where you create AI-powered chatbots and agents. Not the clunky kind that can only answer 3 questions. Real agents that understand what someone needs, take action, and even talk to other agents. These agents can live inside Teams, on your website, or in a mobile app. An employee asks a question, and the agent answers it. But it goes further than that. The agent can start a Power Automate flow, so a conversation becomes an action. Here's a practical example. A company builds an HR agent. An employee types in Teams, "How many sick days do I have left?" The agent checks the HR system, pulls up the employee's record, and answers instantly. Then the employee asks, "I need to take next Friday off." The agent creates a time off request, routes it to the manager for approval, and sends a confirmation. All in one chat conversation. No forms, no emails, no back and forth. And here's the powerful part for 2026. Agents can now talk to each other. Microsoft calls it agent-to-agent communication. One agent handles HR questions, another handles IT support, another handles expense approvals. If an employee asks a question that crosses departments, the agents coordinate behind the scenes. The user doesn't see any of it, and they just get their answer. So now we have 4 tools. See, automate, build, talk. But all of them need one thing in common. They need a place to store their data. Dataverse, the engine underneath. So we covered the 4 tools. Power BI shows you what's happening. Power Automate does the work. Power Apps gives people a way to interact. And Copilot Studio adds AI agents that can converse and take action. But they all need one thing in common, a place to store their data. That's where Dataverse comes in. And this is the piece most people never see because it works quietly behind the scenes. Dataverse is the secure, cloud-based database that sits behind Power Apps, Power Automate, and even Dynamics 365. Think of it as the single source of truth for your business data. No more information scattered across 20 Excel files and 6 SharePoint lists. It all lives in one place, structured, secure, and ready to use. Here's what makes it different from just throwing everything into a shared spreadsheet. Dataverse has built-in security. Role-based access means you control exactly who can see what. A manager can view salary data, a team member can't. That's handled at the database level, not in your app code. It also has business rules built right in. You can say, if this field is over a certain value, make this other field required. Or, whenever a new order is created, automatically calculate the total based on the line items. That logic lives inside Dataverse, not inside each individual app. So every app that uses that data follows the same rules, and it handles relationships between data. This is where a shared Excel file falls apart. In Excel, you have one sheet for customers and another for orders. But there's no real connection between them. Someone has to manually keep them in sync. In Dataverse, you define a relationship. A customer has many orders. An order belongs to one customer. The database enforces that. If you delete a customer, you can choose whether to also delete their orders or block the deletion. The data stays clean automatically. Here's a concrete example. You have a table for customers, a table for orders, and a relationship between them. Power Apps reads from both tables to show a customer's order history. Power Automate writes to the orders table when a new sale comes in. Power BI reads from both to build a report showing revenue by customer. Everyone uses the same data in the same structure with the same security rules. No copies, no sync issues, no one asking which version of the spreadsheet is the right one. That's the real value of Dataverse. It's what makes the whole platform work together seamlessly. Without it, you'd be back to the same old problem. Tools that don't talk to each other. Now, let's put it all together with a real-world scenario that shows the full system in action. how they all connect, the full system. Let me walk you through one complete process, an expense approval workflow, and I want you to pay attention to how many tools touch this single process and how seamlessly they hand off to each other. Step 1. An employee is out on a business trip. They pay for a hotel and a client dinner. They pull out their phone, open a Power App and submit an expense report. They snap a photo of the receipt, enter the amount, select the category, and hit submit. Took them about 30 seconds. Step 2. That data lands in Dataverse. It's structured, it's secure. The employee can see their own submissions, but not anyone else's. The receipt image is stored, the amount is recorded, the status is set to pending. Step 3. Power Automate picks up the event. A new expense was added. It checks the amount. Over $500? Then it routes it to the employee's manager for approval. It sends an adaptive card to the manager's Teams channel. The card shows the amount, the category, and a button to approve or reject. The manager doesn't need to open a separate app. It's right there in their chat. Step 4. Before the manager decides, they want context. How much has this team spent this month? They open a Power BI dashboard embedded right in Teams. It shows monthly expense trends by department. They can see that this team is within budget and this expense is reasonable. That context helps them make a faster decision. Step 5. Now here's where Copilot Studio comes in. Instead of just clicking approve, the manager gets a message from an AI agent in Teams. The agent says, I see you have a pending expense approval from Sarah for $750. I've checked the budget. You're within limits. Do you want me to process this? The manager says yes. The agent handles it. Step 6. Once approved, Power Automate kicks off another flow. It updates the expense status in Dataverse. It sends a confirmation email to the employee. It pushes the data to the company's ERP system through a connector. And it logs the approval in the audit trail. One unified flow. 6 steps, 5 tools, 0 manual handoffs. No one forwarded an email. No one copied data from one system into another. No one asked, did you approve this yet? The whole thing happened automatically, with the right human oversight at the right moments. The magic isn't any single tool, it's how they snap together. Power BI shows the context, Power Automate does the routing, Power Apps provides the submission form, Copilot Studio adds the conversational layer, and Dataverse holds it all together. This isn't theoretical. Organizations around the world are already doing this. The Singapore Civil Defense Force used Power Platform to transform manual processes into automated solutions, saving millions of dollars. Deutsche Bahn empowered their employees to build low-code apps, accelerating innovation across the entire organization. These are real companies, solving real problems, with the same tools we just walked through. Actionable takeaways. Where to start? So where do you actually begin? Most people jump in and try to learn all 5 tools at once. Don't do that. Instead, pick the one tool that solves your biggest pain point today. If your biggest headache is not knowing what's happening in your business, start with Power BI. If you're drowning in repetitive manual work, start with Power Automate. And if you need a mobile form that replaces paper, start with Power Apps. One tool, one problem, solve that first. Here's the good news. You can try all of this for free. Just go to makepowerapps.com and sign up for a developer plan. It gives you a Dataverse environment at no cost. You can build, test, and learn without spending a dime. Once you've chosen your tool, the next step is simple. Pick one repetitive process at work and automate it. Maybe it's saving email attachments to SharePoint automatically or routing approval requests through Teams instead of endless email chains. Start small, get a win, and then build from there. If you want to go deeper, Microsoft Learn has a free learning path for the PL900 certification. It walks you through everything we just covered. Or join the Power Platform community. Thousands of people share templates, answer questions, and help each other build. That's the system in a nutshell. And here's the one sentence that sums it up. Power Platform isn't 4 separate apps. It's one connected layer that lets anyone build, automate, and analyze without needing a developer. Start with the tool that solves your worst headache. Once you see how they click together, you'll never go back to spreadsheets and email approvals. Subscribe and share this with a colleague who's drowning in manual work. Drop a comment and tell me one process you want to automate. I'll see you in the next episode.